Hey everyone, just kind of wanted to show you how I do oyster farming. Haven't really never seen it anywhere on YouTube, but it works for me. So really want to encourage y'all to do some oyster farming. It's a lot of fun and they grow pretty fast. These right here are roughly about a year old, and I actually got these as baby spats, which were about the size of your thumbnail, back in February, and it's late December right now. You see, I just suspend them between the boards in my peir with a little piece of aluminum and some cable, and then they sit down in the water. I hope you can see them now. I've got about 38 cages hanging on my peir, and you can hang them about every 2 feet. One thing I want you to notice is that I had to come back and cut between my boards a little bit, because when it rains, it swells up and you can't get the cable out. So you got to do that. But these cages got about $12 a piece in them, and some of the reasons why I think it's a pretty neat idea to do this is they don't cost that much, and you don't see them from your pier or from your house or wherever. The only thing you see is that thin little cable hanging down. I have them hanging right now. We're on December tides, which are really low in Virginia, and you can see some more of them probably. And the benefits of this is, if you got a storm or anything, the waves do not affect it. You don't have to worry about them freezing. You don't have to worry about your cages floating off somewhere. You don't have to worry about the waves. Even if you get really bad wave action, it doesn't hurt them. These stay about 6 inches to a foot off the bottom. You don't want them right on the bottom. And because of the mud, you want to be able to get the flow of the water between them. Another great feature is that you can come out here anytime and clean them off. All you do is just take and pull the cable up and down in the water, and it pretty much just cleans the oysters off, which is a very important thing to do. I notice when I keep them clean that they grow a lot faster. Here's some of our babies. I just bought, I would say about 4 weeks ago, bought these little baby spats. Believe it or not, in this cage I got 3,000 of them, and I'm going to kind of come down on it so you can see the size of them. Those were about the size of a fingernail, my baby fingernail, and now you can see how much they grow. They've almost, well, in fact they were smaller than my baby fingernail, but they are almost big as my thumbnail now. And so these will be fully matured and ready to eat by October of next year. As again, this is December 2016, so by October 2017 they'll be ready. And believe it or not, there's 3,000. I bought 6,000. So they do really good. My success rate as far as oysters dying is roughly about 2%, which I find really, really good. I would say that cage, I got 100 to 120 oysters in. And where you really want to keep them is right around no more than 120 in a cage. If you get much more than that, sometimes they get too heavy, you can't even hardly pick them up. So Really great way to oyster farm, easy to do, you're not going to spend a lot of money. The baby spats cost me 3 cents a piece, so that was what, $180 for 6,000 of them. And even if you have a 5% death rate, you're doing really good. They say if you can figure on about 20%, but we are using triploids, so they don't have much disease and they grow a lot faster. One of the great things about it is, if you'll see in my other videos, that you'll see baby spats growing off of the other oysters. So what I usually do is I shuck the oyster, you know, within a half hour after I get them out, and then I throw the shell back over on a reef so the baby spats will have a chance to grow up and produce more oysters. The baby spats are diploids, which they do reproduce. But you can see some of the oysters are, put my hand down here so you can kind of get a feel for it. So they've grown, like that one right there is a 4-inch oyster, almost 5 inches. So they grow really fast and good eating, and you're doing a lot for your bays and rivers and streams. And I recycle all my oysters shells. The ones that have the baby spats, they go back over alive. But the ones that don't have any spats, I'm getting ready to, I'm going to zoom in here. When the water temperature reaches about 65 degrees, because oysters usually don't spawn until it's about 68 to 71 degrees, is where I'll take the other oyster shells that don't have spats on them, and I will go around that point over there that's been eaten away from erosion and put them straight up on the beach. You want to do it in sand, not mud. You could do it in mud, but your success rate probably won't be that good. But if you stand them up right in the sand, it will rebuild that point over there. And plus, the baby spats will get on there, so you'll end up making an oyster reef that will protect the land. And that's what you want to do. A lot of the pollution comes from erosion of the land. So not only are you protecting your own land, you're making more oysters and creating more oysters. We live in Chesapeake Bay, and as y'all might know from history, back in the early 1600s, we have depleted oysters almost down to 1% from what it used to be back in the early 1600s. So I'm going to try to do my part, encourage y'all to do y'all's part to try to rebuild oyster stocks, and this is a great way to do it. And plus, you get some really good food. I give away, I don't sell my oysters, I give them away, a lot of them, and a lot of people really enjoy them. And then they bring me back the oyster shell, so I'll put those back on reefs or put them over there to try to keep that from eroding and make an oyster reef. I have started an oyster reef over there, and it's really done really well. When next low tide, I'll give y'all a shot of it. Anyway, thanks a lot, and try it out. It's really inexpensive to do. In future videos, I'll show you how to build these cages, where you can buy some of your supplies at. And as I say, I got about $12 per cage, and I'm thinking these cages will probably last me at least 4 years if you take care of them, pressure wash them. So anyway, give me a thumbs up. Love to hear your comments, and y'all have a great day. Thank you.